Yo, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at my mock draft for the 2021 NHL Draft. The draft lottery has been set. We know who's drafting where in the top 15, so we'll be doing our first mock draft here right before the draft. We'll be taking a look at that in this video. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. And let's take a look at this draft. So, wow. Very interesting. The top three, we got the Buffalo Sabres, the Seattle Kraken, and the Anaheim Ducks. We'll be starting at the top and working our way down. I'm obviously going to give a little bit of a spiel on these guys, but I'll give a description for each draft pick as I select them, and you guys will get a better idea of the idea of what you're getting from each player. Because obviously there's a lot of research that goes into that, and for me to remember all these guys' names and for me to remember all their skills and their assets throughout the video is just asking for too much. So I will put throughout the video a little bit of a brief report on each player when they get selected. That's how we're going to run things, and we're going to start things from number 1 and go down to number 15. So let's go. At number 1, the Buffalo Sabres keep their draft pick, and they select left shot defenseman from the University of Michigan, Owen Power. Owen Power, the big 6-foot defenseman. He's the guy that everybody's been talking about. His skill level is off the charts, and this is the next great defenseman in the NHL. And the Buffalo Sabres need some compliments to their blue line, especially in the case that they maybe lose a guy like Rasmus Ristolainen next offseason. A guy like Owen Power just stepping right in would be a huge void filled for the Buffalo Sabres if they lose a guy like Risto. Now, you also have a guy like Dahlin, who is going to be a huge piece for Owen Power when he comes to the NHL. A lot of people already doubting Owen Power. He's going to be a bust. He's in Buffalo. Temper your expectations of that, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Great opportunity for the Sabres to select number 1 overall, get their guy, and but there is some competition, and that's at the number 2 spot. As the Seattle Kraken, with their first pick in franchise history, select centerman from the University of Michigan, Matt Beniers. Matty Beniers and Owen Power, the two Michigan Wolverine, Michigan Wolverine alumni, get in the top 2 of the 2021 NHL Draft. Matt Beniers is a perfect fit for the Seattle Kraken. He's a center, and he's going to display a lot of the skill that they are looking for. He's got size, he's got skill, and he is a focal point for his former team. So now coming into Seattle, he may get the spotlight right away as a guy that could come in and be one of the young, energetic guys in that locker room. And hopefully the Seattle Kraken add some leadership in the expansion draft to go alongside a youngster like Matty Beniers. A great opportunity for Beniers and the Seattle Kraken at number 2. So now at number 3, the Anaheim Duck fans out there were pretty disappointed that they fell from number 2 down to number 3. But guys, don't worry about it, because at the end of the day, you were going to be selecting this guy anyway, whether that was at 2 or 3. The fact that Seattle jumped you, it doesn't really matter that much. Unless you got the first overall pick, it doesn't really matter that much at this point, because at number 3, the Anaheim Ducks are proud to select left shot defenseman from Frölunda of the SJHL, which I believe is the junior league of the SHL, Simon Edvinsson. Now, everybody's been talking about Edvinsson as a great two-way defenseman. He can score. He's very good at playing the defensive side of things as well. And this is a guy that the Ducks will be adding, Bob Murray, getting a great Swedish defenseman in there to help add to that blue line. They've been rebuilding the blue line on the fly here over the last couple of years, and they get their guy at number 3, selecting Simon Edvinsson. Now, at number 4 is a little bit interesting. The New Jersey Devils will be selecting, and they have a defenseman on their radar. Now, if this defenseman is still available at 4, you would have to think that this is the guy they go with. Jack Hughes even said, if he's on the board, I really hope they take him. At number 4, to the New Jersey Devils, the Devils are proud to select from the U.S. National Development Team program right shot defenseman Luke Hughes, and he will be going to the New Jersey Devils, playing alongside his brother Jack Hughes in New Jersey. Now they're going to have the centerman Jack Hughes and the right shot defenseman Luke Hughes. That's pretty damn cool. He's going to get selected in the top 5 here. He goes to his brother's team in New Jersey. And I don't see him slipping out of the top 10. Even if he didn't get picked by New Jersey, he was going to get picked potentially at the next pick, or if not the next pick, within the next couple of picks. He would have gone at 9 to Vancouver if he was still on the board at that point. But this is a great opportunity, and makes things quite interesting in the top 5. So now, wrapping out the top 5, the Columbus Blue Jackets, Jarmo Kekalainen steps up to the board with John Davidson. And the Columbus Blue Jackets are proud to select from Djurgårdens of the SHL left winger William EKLUND. William EKLUND is another name we've been hearing a lot about here leading up to the draft. And this is a guy that I've really liked. He has a great two-way game. He can score goals. And he's got that speed and great skating ability that teams are going to fawn after. And that will be the Columbus Blue Jackets at number 5 selecting William EKLUND. An absolute steal at that spot. At number 6, we have a right winger going to the Detroit Red Wings. He's playing up in the WHL, and in recent rankings, he was projected to be the number 2 overall draft pick. He's slid up a little bit since then, but a lot of people are talking very highly of the Edmonton Oil Kings right winger Dylan Genscher. This is a guy that's projected to be a really high-end elite goal scorer, and this is a guy that the Detroit Red Wings could absolutely use. Yes, they selected Moritz Seider. They've selected other guys here recently. Now you're going to take that big scoring power, and you're going to get that from a guy like Dylan Genscher. This is a no-brainer here for the Red Wings at number 6. At number 7, we have the San Jose Sharks, and they have an interesting selection. They're going to be selecting the number 2 North American skater here, who seems to be slipping a little bit, but they're going to pick here from the OHL's Peterborough Pete's centerman Mason McTavish. Now, he has really risen up the rankings recently. He was projected to be a middle to late first round draft pick, and now is projected to go in the top 10. Mason McTavish is another name that's going to be thrown around out there, potentially even in the top 5, maybe even in the top 3. Maybe at number 2 to the Seattle Kraken as a guy that they will be targeting. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. A lot of people have been talking about which center would Seattle take, or for that matter, even the Buffalo Sabres. This could be a guy that could jump up to even potentially the top 3 just based off of what he's done recently. So that's a little bit concerning, but that is something you have to keep in mind. At number 8, we have the Los Angeles Kings selecting our first defenseman since Luke Hughes was selected at 4. At number 8, the Los Angeles Kings are proud to select from the Barrie Colts of the OHL defenseman BRANDT, and he is drawing a lot of comparisons to Aaron Ekblad. Now, maybe not the same high-end skill as Aaron Ekblad, a more defensive-minded, actually, he's a more offensive-minded defenseman. And I think he'd fit in really well with the LA Kings as they look to rebuild their blue line as well. One of the, pretty much all the California teams trying to rebuild the blue line. So there's a great pick here for the San Jose Sharks, for the LA Kings, excuse me. You've got to select a defenseman here because, again, there's going to be centers available. There's going to be wingers available. But you look at what they have already. Arthur Kaliev, Carl Grundstrom, Gabriel Velarde, Quentin Byfield, Alex Turcotte. And I'm probably forgetting names. I mean, they are very deep up front. Your best bet is to go out and grab a defenseman. A good puck-moving defenseman like Brandt Clarke could be a really nice addition to the LA Kings roster. So that means at number 9, we have the Vancouver Canucks, and this is actually the same pick that I had back in my most recent mock draft. I had at number 9, the Vancouver Canucks, Jim Benning going up to the board, taking a little bit of an interesting pick. He's going to be picking a center, and I'm going with the centerman from Karpat, Finland, centerman Arttu Räty. Arttu Räty has fallen drastically in most people's mock drafts. He was projected to be the first or second overall pick as soon as last year and has since fallen from that grace. So now he gets selected here at number 9. He gets an opportunity to stay in the top 10. This would be a huge pick for the Vancouver Canucks to add to their already great group. They could probably take a defenseman here, but the only names that I really see that would draw interest of the Vancouver Canucks is probably Carson Lambos, who's projected to go at number 15. So, if the Vancouver Canucks don't want to take Ratu, they more than likely are looking at somebody else, or better yet, they could even trade back in this year's draft. And this may allow for a team here at number 9 to get their goaltender. Let's say there's a team like, I don't know, maybe the Chicago Blackhawks, maybe, that's interesting. Maybe a team that's looking to get a goaltender, right? Even Calgary, dare I say. Maybe you flip with Calgary. Again, that seems like a long shot because Vancouver and Calgary, but I'm just saying, legitimacy-wise, that could work. And that way, you move your draft pick back. You could pick up Carson Lambos at, say, 12 or 13, and then Jesper Wallstedt could stay in the top 10. I'm just saying, it could happen. But with this, I'm sticking with what we've got, and Vancouver selects R2 Ratu. And that means at number 10, rounding out the top 10, is the Ottawa Senators. And the Ottawa Senators will be selecting a centerman from the University of Michigan once again. This is the third Wolverine to get selected in the top 10. And we are looking at Kent Johnson going to the Ottawa Senators. This is a great pick here for the Ottawa Senators. It just rounds out their rebuild. They have enough defensemen, which plenty of my Sens fans out there mentioned to me. So you don't need any more defensemen. You won't go for a guy like Carson Lambos. Pick up another center. You can't go wrong with that position. They're going to pick up a really talented player in Kent Johnson. This is another guy that could potentially go in the top 5. But with the way it looks right now, he seems like a pretty primed option in the top 10 for sure. And I have him going at number 10 to the Ottawa Senators. Now, the Chicago Blackhawks are picking at number 11, and this is an interesting one. I think they're going to see a little bit of Russian flair here, as at number 11, the Chicago Blackhawks are proud to select from St. Petersburg of the KHL, forward Nikita CHIBRIKOV. Now, this is a guy that's projected to be another scoring-esque player. Dare I even say a guy like Artemi Panarin, the next Artemi Panarin in Chicago? Could we see that happen here? There's a lot of hype around this kid. Now, the only problem with CHIBRIKOV is because of his situation overseas. In the KHL, he is signed in the KHL, which will complicate things a little bit. The Chicago Blackhawks will have to wait for him to come over, which may be a little bit of a non-selling point here for Stan Bowman, but we've seen it work out for teams in the past. Vladimir Tarasenko, Evgeny Kuznetsov, we've seen this story before, and it usually works out for that team. So we'll see if it happens here, but I think this is a great pick by the Blackhawks at number 11, a guy that's probably a top 5 overall in terms of his skill level. So at number 12, we've got the Calgary Flames selecting goaltender Jesper Wallstedt. I didn't forget about this young goaltender. This is a guy that's going to stay in the top 15. I think he slid a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if at number 9 or 10 he gets picked, but definitely by 12, the Calgary Flames need a goaltender. And they have Jacob Markstrom for right now, and they've patched that hole. But in 2, even 3 years from now, they may be wanting another goaltending option. And a guy like Jesper Wallstedt can jump into the equation and help build that defense, or help build that goaltending group, as well as now the Calgary Flames can build from within. And that's really what we're looking at with the Calgary Flames. They've got some good defensemen. They got guys like Rasmus Andersson. They have guys like Oliver Chillington if they can develop. And up front, they have guys like the Tkachuk. You have Tkachuk. You have young guys around there. You have guys like Monahan, who's still fairly young, Goudreau. Do you trade those guys for younger pieces? Maybe. But ideally, you pick the goaltender here. You kind of leave things the same. I know there might be a mass sell-off in Calgary, but make sure you pick the right guy here. Select the goaltender at number 12. So at number 13, the Philadelphia Flyers will be staying in the States with this pick. They will be selecting from Chicago Steel of the United States Hockey League right winger Matthew Coronato. This is another good pick here by the Flyers, adding to their forward depth. And I think they're going to see a little bit of turnover here over the next couple years if they move on from guys like Claude Giroux and potentially guys like, Jakub Voracek. They're going to need some more forward help. And I think a great pick here would be to take the guy from Chicago. He had a really good season with that Chicago Steel team. They were unbeatable this year, and he was a big part of that. So he brings that winning culture into the room, and I think that's a really nice piece here for the Flyers with the number 13th selection, fitting that the Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies, select at 13. So now we are pretty much rounding things up here. At number 14, we have the Dallas Stars, and I think they will be staying in the USHL here with this pick as well. They're going to be the Dallas Stars are proud to select centerman from the United States Hockey League from Sioux Falls, centerman Cole Sillinger. Now, Cole Sillinger has kind of slipped in my rankings. I had him going at that number 8 pick to the LA Kings in my most recent mock draft, but it seems like he has slid just a little bit more. We've seen guys start to rise up a little bit, and Cole Sillinger kind of stays in the weeds. I think he could be a really nice dark horse pick here for the Dallas Stars at 14. And this is a guy that could probably go in the top 10, but again, it's a pretty nice draft. It's starting to look like a really good group, but again, a lot of it we don't know because a lot of these guys didn't play all that much this year. So it's really hard to figure out who really is as good as they say they are. That's part of the equation. So at number 15, to cap this thing off, the New York Rangers did not move up in the draft lottery. And the New York Rangers, with the 15th overall selection, are proud to select from Togliatti of Russia, centerman Fedor Svechkov. Now, this is an interesting pick. Now, the thing is, hear me out. So you don't need a goaltender. You've got Igor Shesterkin and Georgiev. You don't need defensemen. You've got Keandre Miller, Nils Lundqvist. You've got other guys in the system, Matt Robertson. Do you really need this guy at this point? You know, it doesn't really make sense. Do they need another defenseman? Right? No. So you look at the forward side of things. Well, they did just select Capo Caco. They did just select Alexis Lafreniere. Yeah, but you know what? You're going to need some depth, specifically down the middle. And the reason I say that is, you know, right now we're looking at a situation where the Rangers may have to let go of Mika Zibanejad next offseason. So this Svechkov kid, he's going to play in Russia next year. And then as soon as year 2 and going into the into the fall of 2022, the New York Rangers may be in need of another top 6 center. Now, Ryan Strome may fill that void for a little while, but let's be honest, it's probably going to be, they're going to need some help there. And a guy, you know, you're going to have Ryan Strome and you have a guy like Svechkov there. That could be a really nice duo for the New York Rangers to kind of fill in Mika Zibanejad's loss when they likely lose him next year. So this is a great opportunity here for the Rangers. Even though they're drafting 15th, they could get a really high-end top 6 center to fill out that void of Zibanejad next year. So that's it for this mock draft. Damn, it was going on. Whew, I feel like I'm going to fall asleep. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And an even bigger, subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.